If video games make kids so violent, why are they so easy to beat up? Greetings gamers and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host Connor Monroe and I was talking about kids in video games. Freddy Fazbear is the king of FNAF, and I mean this in a literal sense because, well, he is the Freddy in Five Nights at Freddy's. But what are some things that you may know but could also surprise you? That's what we're exploring with today's list of the top 10 Freddy Fazbear surprising facts. Subscribe if you haven't already and go watch our other FNAF content because recently we've been milking this cow dry because y'all really love it. So, now, roll the intro. In a 10 handprint. It's fairly well known that Freddy's character model has a handprint on his face and chin. This is thought to be the hand of a victim of his, potentially the victim of the bite of 87, but also maybe even Afton's when he stuffed one of the missing children from the missing children's incident in the suit. But there is another image from the game that can actually debunk this theory and may give you a new view on that handprint. It'll also make you question everything about the series. The handprint could also be the handprint of who we play as in Help Wanted. Now I keep going back to this game, but in one of the endings to the game where we follow Glitch Trap in the Pizza Party minigame, you get put on stage holding a microphone, you being Freddy. You get stuffed into the animatronic suit with the other two standing beside you. So maybe it's your handprint, and we end up right back where we started the series. Maybe that's where Jeremy is, the playtester before you. Maybe he is next to you. I mean, one of the names of the original 5 who got stuffed is Jeremy, so maybe Afton's consciousness inside the game is reliving his past killings. Sorry, didn't mean for this to turn into a theory, but again, I have a point that can shut the whole it's a victim's handprint thing down later on, so stick around. In a 9 Kickstarter. It's a great website, hashtag not sponsored. It provides an outlet for creators to get their projects out there and get funded by people who like the idea. I've actually considered using it for several things in the past but never actually done it. Unlike Scott Cawthon, who actually put Five Nights at Freddy's up on Kickstarter before starting production. The game with its popularity now would have crushed its $10,000 pledge goal, but in actuality, nobody knew about this game and nobody knew how good it would be. It never made a dime. I mean, it was taken off Kickstarter after 3 days, like Scott cancelled the Kickstarter with no funds raised, and at one point considered abandoning the game, so rough. We know how successful the original game was, so what would have changed if Scott had raised this money? Would the game have been better, worse, the same? It's unknown, and while at the time it may have seemed like a lost cause fighting for the life of his game dev career, Scott persevered and has probably a jacuzzi full of money thanks to this series. This is one hell of an inspirational story. It's like that image of someone digging underground with like a huge area full of diamonds like an inch away, but he's walking back because he gave up. Keep the grind going, stay inspired, do what you love even if you aren't making money from it, because one day you may get the shot you've always wanted, or maybe even never thought you could. And an 8 nose goes. We all know about clicking the nose on the Freddy's poster making a squeaking noise, and this doesn't change in each game, with the exception of Help Wanted since you can't really click on the posters, but the clown posters in the DLC squeak when you hit them with a dart. However, in the original game, clicking Freddy's little button nose can result in him jump scaring you. This doesn't happen unless Freddy is outside your door, since that's the closest he can get. If you don't close the door and decide to taunt Freddy by squeaking the nose of his poster, he doesn't need to wait until you bring up the monitor. That squeaking must just trigger him so bad that he would just kill you for it. Well, maybe, it's only a chance, but it's pretty interesting and something I didn't know since I always run out of power instead of risking my life like that. I'm not good at power management. And at 7, head goes. In the West Hall corner in FNAF 1 Camera 2B, you can see a poster of Freddy on one of the walls. While Bonnie can cover this poster up, it, like many other posters in that game and throughout the series, can switch. While the posters that change show the crying child and Golden Freddy, there was one rare screen that you can find that has Freddy taking his own head off. This could just be an Easter egg, but some people believe that this is the spirit of the child who was stuffed into him, showing how he wants to be released and moved on to the afterlife. Others think that it was Phone Guy since he dies fighting off the animatronics in the 4th night of the first game, but Freddy can and does remove his own head, similar to what we see Bonnie do in the trailer for the first game, removing his head to show his endoskeleton instead of a jump scare. See, this time I said his because my brain isn't fried. And at 6, pattern. Freddy, unlike most animatronics who can travel to any room on the respective side, has a set path that he follows every time. This being the show stage, dining area, restrooms, kitchen, East Hall corner, office. He is never in your blind spot, making him be able to scare you from the door next to your office, but also slightly easier to track, and once he's at your door you're pretty much screwed. However, Freddy will never move when the cameras are on, even if you aren't looking at him. If you're viewing a camera, he will not move. This can be used as a strategy strategy if you know where the other animatronics are. This pattern can be used to your advantage as well as his movement, but it can still be used against you if you're not paying attention. Just don't click the nose. It's interesting how he has a pattern while the other animatronics don't. Perhaps he knows how to get to you, and that you're his main objective. And at number 5, stalking. Freddy doesn't move for the first few nights. When he becomes active, he makes a beeline for you and will kill you any chance he gets. He doesn't move if the camera is on because he's trying not to be a concern, and if you think about it, that's exactly what he should be doing. If he only moves when the cameras are off, it could cause you to run out of power because you're always looking for him. He hides in the shadows, so it takes you more time to notice him, and he is always looking right at the camera to know if it's on. This is why he waits. Sure, it makes sense in the game, making it harder as you go on, but it's also him learning. He's the leader of the gang and the smartest of them all. He sends Bonnie and Chica after you so that he can learn how you defend yourself, so he can ultimately strike you where it hurts. He's stalking you, learning about you, like any good villain does. He knows his enemy. Like any good villain does, he knows his enemy, and that makes him all the more frightening. And at 4, originally static. While now Freddy is known to come down the east hallway, making some station stops to your office, he wasn't originally intended to do so. He actually was intended to just stand at the show stage and let his minions come after you. He is the only animatronic in the game with 2 jump scares, because he was originally intended to only scare you if you ran out of power, but then Scott decided to let him come after you at night 3, perhaps because the game was too easy otherwise, or maybe Freddy just decided to start moving and Scott accepted it. The game would be totally different if Freddy was stationary. There wouldn't be some form of meta surrounding his movement, and the only time you'd really get to see him is if you ran out of power, which is weird because the game is called Five Nights at Freddy's, so if Freddy wasn't coming for you, it kind of ruins it. I mean, like, I know the establishment is Freddy's and that's why it's Five Nights at Freddy's, but like, come on. If Freddy didn't do anything, it'd be kind of lame. And at 3, instant kill. One of the most mysterious questions of all is the bite of 87. In the first Five Nights game, people thought that we could get some more clues or maybe hints to the series, or maybe even a secret ending. So in an effort to solve the most mysterious question of all, who really 100% caused the bite of 87, players for the custom Night 7 and Five Nights 1 had the original core 4 animatronics of Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy with the levels 1, 9, 8, and 7 to try to get a secret ending or perhaps a clue. However, Scott knew people would be assuming this would work, so in an effort to shut rumors down, he added that if you do this, you will get immediately jump scared by Golden Freddy, which while not providing a secret ending may give us some clues. Maybe it was Golden Freddy who caused the bite after all, hence why he is decommissioned in the first game, and that it would be the second incident since he caused the crying child to die in 1983. So I retract my previous statement that Mangle was the cause, because at this point I don't know. But nobody ever mentioned this to me in the comments, especially when claiming it was Golden Freddy or Freddy at all, so I didn't know about this until now, so don't yell at me. And at 2 is handprint. I've mentioned both the handprint and him taking his own head off in the poster earlier in this list, but the handprint on his face, while many assume it to be proof he caused the bite of 87 or that it was the foam guy or the kid who got stuffed, is in fact most likely his own hand. That handprint is pretty big, covering both his eye and more, which, since he's a 7-foot tall animatronic, makes that hand pretty large. And who would really need to put their hand on his face? Anyone who would be getting bit wouldn't be at that angle. Plus, there is another print on his chin, which is in the same place one of his hands is when he takes off his head in the poster. Hence why I mentioned both of these before this and why I'm bringing up his face 3 separate times on this list. Whose handprint do you think it is? Let me know in the comments, because I genuinely think it's Freddy's. Finally, and number 1, Jingle. When you do run out of power because you don't have any power conservation skills, you get taunted by the glowing face of Fredbear before the room goes pitch black and he jump scares you. Unless you're lucky as hell, which I was during our Help Wanted video. Oh no. Oh crapula. Okay. Oh no. God. Oh god. Oh my god. Holy. However, if you pay attention to the song playing before the scare, it may sound familiar. If you're a fan of classical music, then you may know the song March of the Toreadors, which is actually the song that plays before Freddy gets you with his shaking face of doom, which is interesting because it's somehow creepy with just the higher notes, whereas with the lower notes it's not as bad. Well done on the creep factor, Scott. You actually managed to scare yourself with this game using Bonnie, so I guess you did even more of an incredible job than we all thought. Grammar? I don't know. There we have it, friends, the top 10 Freddy Fazbear surprising facts. I'm sure you all knew these already because you all love FNAF so much, but if you were surprised by anything, let me know below. And on your way down, be sure you hit like and subscribe for daily gaming content and ring that bell to join the clan and level up. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been Showerman Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.
While the Five Nights at Freddy's series has introduced a slew of animatronic characters over the years, to many fans of the games, there's 4 who are the most memorable and beloved. Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie the Rabbit, Foxy the Pirate Fox, and of course, Chica the Chicken. These 4 spearheaded the series as entertaining children's robots by day turned murderous free-roaming killers at night. Their goal? To forcefully stuff any human they see after hours into a Freddy suit, which results in death, that human being you. It's Chica that we are going to be talking about today though on our channel with our list of the top 10 Chica surprising facts. Let's get to it. In at number 10, her origin. Chica's origin is much more explored in the second game, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. She appears as her earliest form, her first generation of an animatronic, which is known as Withered Chica. This Chica has fallen into severe disrepair, and replaced by a new iteration of Chica called Toy Chica. Now, Withered Chica would eventually be rebuilt after the events of the second game, which is the version of her that we're introduced to in the first Five Nights game. The more you know. In at number 9, all in the details. Let's take a look at a few aspects of Chica's character that made her so darn scary and so darn iconic. In the very first Five Nights at Freddy's, as the night progresses, she becomes more erratic, twitching violently, eyes blinking rapidly, and her soundbite will play regardless of whether or not you're focused on her or not. She gets quite sneaky too. If you fail to check your right blind spot and close the door when she's at the window, she can sneak into the office without being seen. And when she does, the buttons for the door and light won't function anymore. You can tell she's entered the office by listening for the sound of groans, which both her and Bonnie do. They'll jump at you as soon as you lower your monitor. And at number 8, Chica loves food. Like, no shit, right? I mean, it literally says "let's eat" on her bib, which is surrounded by little triangles that one could only assume are inspired by the fact that she was built for a franchise of pizza parlors. Anyway, based on the Freddy Fazbear theme song, Chica is a gluttonous but lovable chicken who has an adoration of food, especially pizza. Shocker there, friends. She's also a little pushy. Gotta get that za. And at number 7, that groan. You know the groans that we mentioned earlier, the sounds that Chica and Bonnie make when they've snuck into the office? Well, there's a theory about why those groans sound the way they do, or rather why the animatronics make them. It's speculated that the groan is actually phone guys, or that it belongs to one of the 5 kids from the missing children incident theory. On the flip side of this, which is probably the more rational theory, the groan could simply come from her voice box. Voice boxes are found in most singing animatronics, and it could be that this voice box is malfunctioning since the animatronics are over 20 years old and poorly maintained. Moving on to number 6, them teeth. Chica's got some chompers. She's got a second set of teeth in the back of her mouth, with most people assuming that those teeth are part of her endoskeleton. There is a theory though that those teeth actually belong to a human, with one popular theory debating that the teeth belong to phone guy. A lot of phone guy theories. That being said, every single one of the animatronics in the first game have endoskeleton teeth inside of their costumes, so. And at number 5, absence. Chica is in every Five Nights at Freddy's game with the exception of the 5th game, 2016's Sister Location. Now, despite the 5th title, Sister Location is chronologically the first installment in the series and actually is rather distinct compared to the other Freddy's titles. You can move between rooms and must carry out objectives, and a new cast of animatronics were added. Now, the reception for the title was a little mixed, although the game was praised for switching up the series status quo in terms of gameplay, keeping the player on edge. There is a slight nod to Chica in the game though. There's a mode in Custom Night called Cupcake Challenge, which is a nod to Chica's cupcake. Moving on to number 4, missing? Despite the absence in the last game, Chica may initially have been planned to be in it. In Ennard's first teaser found within the source code, Chica's name is mentioned as a client called Chica's Party World, no vowels, which was an abbreviation for Chica's Party World. But there is no reference to this party world in the game itself. Curious, what do you guys think it could have been? Moving on to number 3, Phantom Chica. Even though Chica appears in all of the rest of the games, it is worth noting that it is different forms of her that appear and pop up in those sequel titles. Now, for example, in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, she doesn't affect gameplay at all beyond being a spooky piece of the game's set. Now, she is an attraction prop at Fazbear's Fright, and in Cam 08 you can see her disembodied head. Instead, in the game, it's Phantom Chica who is basically Chica but doesn't have eyes and scares you and looks charred and her mouth is constantly open. She doesn't have much of a movement pattern either. There's also a little nod from her partner in crime in the 3rd game who actually appears as a minor hallucination, which brings us to our next number, talking about that partner in crime. Number 2, Chica's Cupcake. Let's talk about this little buck-toothed pink frosted buddy of hers. The cupcake. There is a cupcake that Chica holds on a tray when she is on stage. Like the other animatronics, it has black eyelids. Now this cupcake disappears when Chica is off the stage, and there's never been any explanation for why. Creepily enough though, the same cupcake also can be spotted inside of the office in the first game on top of the monitors, which is, you know, probably just merch, but whatever. Other than that, it has no effect on the player aside from spooking them out. And last but not least, in at number 1, Help Wanted. There's some fun details about Chica in the Five Nights at Freddy's VR game Help Wanted. The parts and service section is perhaps one of the more interesting parts of the game, no pun intended there. Your objective is to repair one of the original animatronics, in which you're guided through various instructions to do so. Now in order to repair Chica, you need to remove pizza slices from her body, open up her beak which reveals a cockroach infestation, and continue to spray her with chemispray in order to clean her up. Now if you mess with the instructions, she'll jump scare you and presumably kill you. And also, according to the parts and service portion of the game, there have been customer complaints about Chica's acrid smell, meaning she's been rummaging through the kitchen again and probably some garbage for some munchies. Tough life. Alright, there we have it friends. Who is your favorite character in Five Nights at Freddy's? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts and feels. If you dug this video, you guys know what to do. Share it with a friend, hit that thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more content just like this. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.
Welcome back. We know how much you've been enjoying our character breakdowns for your favorite FNAF characters in animatronics. Bonnie the Bunny. Bonnie is part of the main animatronics cast of the characters of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and today we'll be learning some more frightening facts about him as we count down the top 10 shocking Bonnie the Bunny facts. And be sure to stick around until the end of this list where I will have some bonus content coming your way. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10. Frequent visitor. In the original FNAF, if you were ever successfully attacked and killed by an animatronic, it was likely Bonnie. I mean, probably wasn't Bonnie all the time, but trust me, Bonnie's a big one. Bonnie the Bunny is one of the most active characters in the original game. He really likes to come out and play and roam the pizzeria at night. So he is really the one that you need to keep an eye out for when it comes to those lights in the doors and your cameras, as you likely will see a lot of movement from Bonnie. In fact, you'll probably just see Bonnie like waiting to jump on you later in that game, pretty much the entire time. Bonnie pops up at your left door, so that's the one you want to keep an eye on for Bonnie the Bunny. Number 9. Death Coin. In Ultimate Custom Night, the Death Coin becomes a mechanic that you can use if you purchase it using Faz Coins. Bonnie the Bunny is one of the animatronics you can actually use it on, so if you're really afraid of Bonnie, or if they are your least favorite animatronic, though I don't know why you put them in your custom game, or if you just don't want to have to worry about Bonnie, this might be a good idea for you. The Death Coin can only be purchased and used once per night and allows you to basically ignore or delete a character for that night. It can't be used on all of the animatronics, but it can be used on Bonnie, if you so choose. Number 8. Bonnie and Foxy. In the trailer for the original game, Bonnie appears to be the animatronic who charges down the hallway at you, and is also shown removing his face. While in the game, it is Foxy who is known for running and using this method to charge you and attack. Right off the bat, this connection between the two would later lead to some seeming competition in the animatronics' relationship with one another, which is hinted at later in the franchise, and which we'll talk about further on in this list. Some have speculated that Bonnie running in the trailer while Foxy was the one running in the game has to do with either the fact that Scott had not yet designed Foxy, changed his mind about Bonnie's character in the game and his approach, or simply wanted Foxy to be a surprise. As for Bonnie removing his face, we wouldn't see anything like this with Bonnie until the second game. Number 7. Moaning. On night 4 of the original Five Nights at Freddy's, you might notice that when Bonnie pops up, he begins to moan. You can hear a series of moans when you see Bonnie on camera, just adding to the creepiness of his character. It almost makes it sound like someone is trapped in the suit. It could be a reference to the spirits who are actually trapped within the animatronics, or it could just be the suit glitching when it comes to the in-story reason for why we hear this moaning. In regards to gameplay though, it just seems to be part of making the game feel more scary the further along you get, getting you more and more on edge. Just like the camera glitches, which you experience more and more as the game goes on. Ugh, those camera glitches, they get me. I like, no thank you. Stop glitching, camera, why you like that? Also, why do I have limited power? What is this? Number 6. freaky eyes. When it comes to Bonnie, a lot of people have noticed that in his withered form, the light of his pupils actually change. It could have to do with a change in the amount of light that shines on withered Bonnie, or it could have to do with a change in his mood. But his eyes switch between being bright white or bright red. Either way, withered Bonnie is terrifying and is likely still going to try and come for you, no matter what the color of his eyes. Number 5, first animatronic. Bonnie is said to be the first animatronic that was designed by Scott Cawthon. Apparently, in an interview, Scott shared that during the early stages of game development, Bonnie's face actually popped up and caught him off guard, as it appeared in a spot where it wasn't supposed to be. Being unexpected, Bonnie's face gave Scott a big jump scare of his own, and that was the moment that Scott knew with FNAF he had something really interesting. That moment itself likely inspired a lot of the pop-ups that you experienced during the gameplay. Number 4, aggressive. In Ultimate Custom Night, Bonnie is also in Pirate Cove and is not happy about having to share the stage with Foxy the Pirate. Another nod to those two having a potential close and competitive relationship. As a result of being forced to share Pirate Cove, Bonnie becomes a lot more aggressive in the game. And whereas you may be used to having to frequently check on Foxy, if Bonnie is actually the one in Pirate Cove, you don't want to catch him on camera. Whereas Foxy wants your attention, if you catch Bonnie on camera, it will make Bonnie come towards you. So the opposite of what you're used to dealing with when it comes to Foxy in Pirate Cove. Number 3, Bonnie plushie. I don't know if it's so much shocking as it is interesting. In FNAF 2, the Bonnie plushie is an item you can get as a reward when you complete the Custom Nights Double Trouble mode. This plushie actually became so popular that it was also turned into a toy. In fact, there is a whole line of FNAF toys. Some of them adorable and some of them are more sinister looking. Some people even handcraft and sell withered Bonnie plushies as well. Ugh. So, if you're a fan of Bonnie, there's a good chance you can find plushies for him in all of his forms. Gotta catch 'em all. Number 2, Mr. Munch. Many have drawn similarities between another lovable real-life pizzeria character, real life, and Bonnie the Bunny. That character is Mr. Munch. Mr. Munch and Bonnie both have a similar shaped body and face. While Mr. Munch is not a bunny, he is purple and has similar eyes to Bonnie, except that Bonnie's eyes are red or pink. In FNAF 2, people also noticed that Bonnie's teeth appeared to be more pointed, similar to the shape of those of Mr. Munch. Many have likened Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria to that of Chuck E. Cheese's, which also is known for its animatronic characters, as well as comparing Freddy Fazbear to the lead animatronic in the band Rockafire Explosion, who is also an anthropomorphic animatronic bear, like Freddy. Number 1, Nightmare. Scott Cawthon considers Bonnie to be the most frightening animatronic in the game. Bonnie actually gave Scott nightmares, likely because Bonnie was also responsible for the jump scares Scott experienced during development, which we talked about earlier. People also believe this is why Bonnie appears in hallucinations in the game, that the hallucinations are sort of a nod to Scott's own nightmares that he had of Bonnie. Regardless, when it comes to Scott's opinion, Bonnie remains the most terrifying animatronic in the games for him. So if we're talking to Scott, he's gonna tell us that Bonnie the Bunny is actually the most terrifying animatronic. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about, apparently, the most terrifying animatronic in FNAF, according to the game's creator, Bonnie the Bunny. Who's your favorite animatronic? What is your favorite FNAF game? Do you find Bonnie scary, yes or no? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Resident Evil 3 Easter eggs you missed. Typical Wolf says, hi, hello, back to you, Typical Wolf. Thank you so much for stopping by and for commenting. Nuke Mickey Gamer says, Amanda is host now. It's okay. She's my fave, like Connor. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed my presence on the channel, and Connor's presence as well. The Cheese King is also awesome. Long may he reign. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your comments responded to in a future video. And be sure to like, subscribe, and ring our bell if you haven't already on your way down to those comments. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew! Fun facts. But his eyes switch between being bright white or bright... I keep wanting to say bread. Links, 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 links. It's hot. It's very warm. I'm waiting for the thing to scroll. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you endured. Pew pew! I feel like I looked in a weird spot. Pew pew! Look where I'm shooting. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
Welcome back, my fellow gamers. We've talked about a lot of fan favorite FNAF animatronics in the past, but there is still one who is my personal favorite that we have yet to dive into. Foxy the Pirate. Today we'll be taking a closer look at everyone's favorite mysterious, demanding, and somewhat elusive animatronic as we count down the top 10 shocking Foxy the Pirate facts. And my mateys, be sure to stick around till the end of this list where I'll also have some bonus content coming your way. But for now, avast! Let's get counting. Number 10. Tallest. Many believe that Foxy is actually the tallest animatronic in the game. Although it has not been officially confirmed, most people have estimated that he is at least 7 feet tall, being between 7 feet tall and 7 feet and 7 inches tall. Most have come to this conclusion based on constructing estimated heights for the animatronics in the game, using the door frame we see them pop up in, and other location furniture and visuals as height reference. Number 9. Christopher McCullough. Christopher McCullough provided the voice for Foxy the Pirate in the FNAF games, but did you know that he voiced another character in the games as well? In Sister Location, we get to see a little bit of a show called The Immortal and the Restless, a soap opera TV series. Many episodes play following the completion of each shift in the game. The show centers around Vlad, a vampire, and his romantic relationship with a woman named Clara. McCullough also provided the voice for Vlad's character. His credits also include voice work for another popular game, the Marvel Avengers Academy mobile game, where you can hear him lend his voice to that of Avenger Hank Pym. He does it all. He's a vampire, he's a pirate, he's an Ant-Man. Number 8. His sidekick. Some believe the Balloon Boy is actually in cahoots with Foxy, and that the two characters are partners. This is because in FNAF 2, and similarly in the VR FNAF game Help Wanted, Balloon Boy is the one who periodically messes with your lights in the game, periodically making you extremely vulnerable to Foxy's attacks, as though Balloon Boy is working with Foxy and helping him to successfully get to and kill the player. Number 7. Power drainage. Something astute players may have noticed, while more casual players may have missed, is the amount at which Foxy actually drains your power. In the first game, if Foxy leaves Pirate Cove and dashes at your door, you have to be quick to respond and close it to prevent him from entering the office and attacking you. If you successfully block his entrance, he'll bang on the door a few times before resetting back at Pirate's Cove. But when you block him, although he obviously doesn't kill you, he still manages to cause you some grief, as his attempt to attack you actually drains your power. The first time he gets to you in a shift, it'll only be 1% that he'll take away from you, but if he gets out again, he'll take another 6% of your power. And if you aren't watchful enough and he escapes Pirate Cove a third time, he'll drain 11% of your battery when you block him that third time, if you manage to block him and he doesn't kill you. Number 6. FNAF 3 Mystery. Before the trailer for FNAF 3 was released, Scott put out some teaser content for fans to enjoy, getting everybody hyped. One teaser featured a character with a golden face who had rows of sharp teeth that appeared to be covered in blood. Due to the sharp teeth, fans suspected this actually might be Foxy, but later, when Springtrap was revealed in the trailer, it was actually suspected that Springtrap might have been the one featured in that teaser. However, as we got to see more of Springtrap, we noticed that his teeth were actually not pointed like Foxy. Foxy himself remains one of the only animatronic characters who has sharp teeth in the game. And so, people were left to wonder if this was just a mistake on Scott's part, and he changed the design of Springtrap prior to the game being released, or was Foxy simply supposed to have a bigger role that ended up being rewritten or cut? Number 5. Singing! While the animatronics are all musical to a degree, as, you know, they all perform in a band together, Foxy is one of the few that you can hear continuing to sing after hours. That dum-da-dum-dum that you hear, or pum-pa-pum-pum, depending on what you hear, while checking your cameras is Foxy's voice, by the way. And he's either singing to pass the time or singing to creep you out. Either way, in case you were wondering who is singing, it is Foxy. Some of the other animatronics moan, so by comparison, Foxy seems to be in a more pleasant mood, or just have a healthier voice box maybe, when compared to the other animatronics. What's there not to be in a good mood about? It's nighttime, you're walking around, maybe gonna kill some people. It's great. Number 4, the bite of 87. Now, for a long time, people suspected that Foxy the Pirate was the animatronic responsible for the mysterious bite of 87, first mentioned by Phone Guy in the first FNAF game. This came from the theory that Foxy is of course damaged in that game and is also declared out of order. Not only does he have the perfect sharp teeth to be used in a deadly bite, but his jaw also appears to be injured. He is also separated from the other animatronics and forced to stay behind the curtain at Pirate Cove, as though he were being punished. However, in FNAF 4, it was finally revealed that the animatronic involved in the bite of 87 was Freddy, who crushed a child's skull during a prank that the young boy's older brother and his friends were playing on the smaller child at his birthday. And that small child is actually believed to be Michael Afton's brother. Number 3, not featured. In the trailer for the first Five Nights at Freddy's, Foxy is actually one of the only original animatronics who does not appear. In fact, it is Bonnie instead that you see running down the hallway in the place of Foxy, who is the one. Some think this is because Scott Cawthon either hadn't designed Foxy yet and would later change the mechanics for Bonnie, having Foxy actually take over the animatronic that sprints, or instead that Scott simply wanted Foxy to be a surprise for us all. What do you think? Do you think he changed his mind, or do you think he just wanted it to be a surprise? Number 2, active on night 1. Some players theorize that Foxy himself was not even active during the first night of the original game because it is very rare for him to come out and attack on that first night. However, others have played to actually test that theory and found that he can attack on night 1, but agree that the chances of this happening to you are very rare. It actually takes a whole minute of gameplay where you don't check your cameras for this to occur to you. But if you ignore him for long enough, then Foxy will still come charging at you, even on night 1. Don't think that you won't see him on night 1 because you might. Number 1, the good guy theory. Foxy is such a fan favorite when it comes to all of the animatronics that you run into in Five Nights that a theory started to circulate around how he might not even be as despicable or evil as we all think he is. Some people theorize that Foxy the Pirate, in the first game at least, was actually a good guy. Why do some people think this? A lot of it has to do with the way his jump scare works. Combine that with people's love of Foxy, and it's easy to see why people have wanted him to be a confirmed good animatronic. Something that Foxy's scream is actually Foxy trying to scare off any other animatronics who are waiting to harm the player in the office, but that the player ultimately still dies because his scream is so loud and startling that your character will have a heart attack. And it's actually the heart attack people theorize that kills you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned some new things about Foxy the Pirate in regards to facts and popular theories regarding his character. Do you like the ideas of Foxy being a good guy? Do you think all animatronics are bad guys all the time? Or do you think all animatronics are bad guys all the time? No questions asked. What is your favorite of the FNAF games? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Shocking Bonnie the Bunny FNAF Facts. Mikey12 comments, I think Freddy is the scariest. He seems almost unpredictable. Bonnie is a cute little bunny boy. Good point. Freddy also seems like the leader of the group, which also makes him pretty frightening when you think about it, because he's kind of, in my mind, in charge of the actions of all of the animatronics in terms of them coming after you. He's kind of like the ringleader. Also, bears are just definitely more scary than bunnies, like in nature, in real life. Plush Trap comments, I have a Springtrap plushie. When I get up at 3 a.m. and see it, can't sleep till 6 a.m. Yeah, I think that's what scares me the most about getting those plushies. Like, I have a ton of non-FNAF stuffed animals in my room even, and they already freak me out sometimes if I wake up and I see them like staring at me in the dark with their beady eyes, their beady plastic eyes. So I imagine it would be more frightening with FNAF plushies who, you know, actually have some horror already attached to them. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts shouted out in a future video. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you, as always, to keep on gaming on. Pew pew! However, others that have played Foxy is such a fan favorite that when it comes to all of the animatronics, that you run into. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. Ballora first appears in the FNAF game sister Location. She is a ballerina with a dramatic hourglass figure. Her skin is very pale and her whole form has a slightly purple bluish hue to it. She wears a purple and pink tutu with gold balls on the end and purple ballet shoes. Ballora also happens to be one of the most human looking of all of the animatronics, apart from maybe Balloon Boy or Circus Baby, which makes her even more frightening. Today we'll be discussing not just her appearance, but some other facts that make her one of the most scary animatronics in the world of FNAF, as we count down the top 10 scary FNAF Ballora facts. Number 10, eyes closed. Often when you see Ballora in the game, she appears to have her eyes closed. While other animatronics often have their eyes wide open, there is something unsettling about the fact that her eyes are often closed. It's like she's lulling you into a sense of safety. You don't think that she's always watching you, but even with her eyes closed, she kind of seems to be. Because she can still hear you. Number 9, Ballora. Due to her eyes being closed, some have actually theorized there is a connection between her and the mythological demon or creature known as Ballora. The fact that her eyes seem to be permanently shut and even unable to open at times is a fact that people focus on, and this, as well as the similarity to her name, Ballora, is where the theory comes from. Though it is more likely that her name is simply a reference to the fact that, she's a ballerina. In Irish mythology, a Ballora is a giant cyclops who only opens its single eye when it wants to destroy its enemies. Otherwise, it is known for having its eyes shut because it's basically shooting a beam out of it when it's open. In Dungeons & Dragons, a Ballora is a demonic creature, often pictured with horns and wings. People also might be pulling the name Ballora from Finn Balor's demon persona in WWE. Does Scott like WWE? Could there be a connection there? I don't know, but when I read this theory, I definitely was like, wait, like demon like Finn Balor demon? Also, is it weird that I know that? Number 8, motivation. In the Sister Location game, you are forced to shock Ballora into dancing at the beginning of the game, forcing her to perform. The frightening thing about this is the fact that you already know from the previous games that the animatronics are often out to kill you. So being forced to shock Ballora into performing seems like a bad idea, and makes you feel like you are definitely going to end up dying on this job. Which you probably will, at least a few times. Or you'll probably come close. Number 7, singing. Ballora is said to be a talented dancing and singing animatronic. Her goal is to get children active and dancing to balance out all that pizza that they enjoy. You get to experience her singing firsthand in Sister Location, where you will hear her sing out in a very creepy voice. She appears to mainly focus on one melody, and one of the lines that you can hear her sing in the game is as follows: "I roam these halls alone all day, but now you're here, friend, and pray." Ugh. Pray, I don't like that. She also sings about hearing your flesh and bones. Yikes. Number 6, more aware. Some animatronics in the game seem to speak to you through pre-recorded lines. In fact, a good number of them do that. Circus Baby, however, is not one of them, as she is possessed by William Afton's daughter, Elizabeth, and seems to be more in control of her thoughts, her words, her actions. However, Ballora also displays sort of this level of awareness when compared to the other animatronics. She talks to you when you are in the vents underneath her gallery, and her words and phrases seem to be outside of any pre-recorded voice recordings that she might be programmed with. This either means that Ballora could also be possessed, or that she simply has more advanced programming than some of the other animatronics. Number 5, sharp teeth. Despite not being a nightmare animatronic and not being animal themed either, Ballora, oddly enough, still has razor sharp teeth in her mouth for some reason, which mostly appear to be there in the game to frighten you, as I couldn't really see any practical use for them, unless it's killing the children that she teaches how to dance, like maybe because she eats them. She has a few more human or dull looking teeth in front, but behind them are rows and rows of razor sharp teeth. So watch out, don't put your hand in there. Number 4, her different jump scares. All of her jump scares are different, but equally terrifying. Some are jump scares where her face and eyes remain closed, while in others her face actually simply opens up but her eyes still remain closed. But she also has jump scares where both the inside of her face and her eyes are also revealed. The only thing that isn't scary about this fact, that she actually has really, really pretty, like, purple eyes. Is it just me? I always wanted to have purple eyes when I was younger. I was like, man, I wish I was born with purple eyes. Then I realized that's not really a thing. There aren't really people that are born with purple eyes. Number 3, Ennard. In Sister Location, Ballora ends up getting scooped out, and her parts are actually used to help create Ennard. Her endoskeleton is used to form his upper body, and her eyes are actually used to help him disguise himself more successfully as a human, as hers are smaller and more human-like than most of the other animatronics. Number 2, crawling. Scott actually has confirmed that Ballora actually only has 2 ways to move. She's either gliding around on the tracks, dancing gracefully, or when not on the tracks is forced to crawl around on all fours, like some kind of creepy spider. He also confirmed that she can climb up walls like Mangle. Talk about facts to keep you up at night. Now I'm just gonna be laying in bed at night thinking that when I wake up I might just see Ballora crawl onto my ceiling, have her face open up at me. Ugh. Number 1, mini arenas. During the game Sister Location on night 3, you also get introduced to Ballora's mini arenas. These are small, kind of alternate versions of Ballora. They don't really quite look like her, kind of like her minions, except that they often seem to be more busy antagonizing Ballora, like when they're holding up her pieces, as opposed to helping her. Except that they kind of seem to be more busy antagonizing Ballora as opposed to always helping her. On night 3, you see them holding up Ballora's dismantled parts on the stage, prompting the AI who guides you through the game to seem content in the fact that Ballora appears to be in working order. She's not. It does not register the fact that she's dismantled, it only registers the fact that she's on the stage, and mistakes her presence for her being functional, so apparently that's good enough for it. Later on, the mini arenas will become freed from Ballora and proceed to come after you. Thank you so much for watching. Who are some of your favorite FNAF animatronics? What do you think is the scariest animatronic in Sister Location? What's your favorite FNAF game so far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're on your way down there, be sure to click that like if you love the frightening world of FNAF. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, be sure to smash that sub and ring our bell so you stay in the know on all the nerdy gaming notifications. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to stay safe and keep on gaming on. Pew pew! Ennard first appeared in the Five Nights at Freddy's game Sister Location and quickly became a fan favorite. Ennard is an animatronic made from other animatronics, belonging to Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. The game Sister Location and animatronic Ennard would play a big role in expanding the lore of FNAF, as well as building on the family story behind the creator of the animatronics, William Afton, and his family. Today we'll take a closer look at just what exactly makes Ennard Ennard, and what makes him so terrifying as we count down the top 10 scary Ennard facts. And be sure to stick around to the end of this list where I will have some bonus content coming your way. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10, Tangled Mess. So the creepy thing about Ennard and the way that it looks is it's kind of just a mess. It almost looks broken or disrepaired, like a not complete animatronic, due to the fact that it is a bunch of animatronics kind of mushed together somehow. Most animatronics have wires in places that resemble living tissue, like muscles, but Ennard is composed of clumps and messes of wires, looking as though they belong to various different animatronics, based on the fact that they are all different colors and different thicknesses, and they're not properly wound or woven together, it seems. Its feet even have 6 toes instead of 4 or 5, with 4 thicker wire toes together and 2 spindly wired toes kind of sticking out on the sides of each foot. Number 9, eyes. Ennard, being an amalgamation of animatronics, also is covered in eyes. Some have even recognized these eyes in terms of which animatronics they belong to. The blue eye hanging from the right side of Ennard's head likely belongs to Funtime Freddy. The yellow eye on his bicep is supposed to belong to Funtime Foxy. The pink eye on Ennard's waist is from Bon Bon, and the green eye on his leg appears to be Circus Baby's. And of course, the purple eyes often seen in Ennard's head appear to belong to Ballora. Now, why Ennard felt like it needed so many eyes, well, no one knows. I guess more to see you with? I guess maybe so like every animatronic that's a part of it can still see? Do they see out of different eyes? Number 8, mask. Ennard can be seen in the games both with a mask and without one, depending on which game and which scenario we're talking about. However, the frightening white mask you are likely familiar with when it does have a face, the primary control area is one of the locations in FNAF Sister Location, which is of course where we first see Ennard. This mask is one of the ones that you see in the bottom left corner, which seems to blink throughout the time that you're in the control area. Ugh, it's creepy. The mask consists of 4 faceplates and has a bright red clown nose, as well as a couple of rounded ears. Number 7, Ballora's endoskeleton. If you mess up when following Circus Baby's directions on night 5, you will find out just who is with Circus Baby and get to meet Ennard, who Circus Baby refers to as Ballora when you're sneaking through the vents. You can also see the outline of Ennard when performing maintenance on Baby. Its head and eyes can be seen peering over each side of Circus Baby. You might not notice it, but if you look for it, you definitely will, and it's definitely creepy. Number 6, the real ending. One of the scariest things about Ennard is that it plans to use your skin as a disguise to escape the world and assimilate itself into the living world. In the real ending of the game, if you follow Circus Baby's directions exactly, you will end up in the scooping room, where you will be scooped, which, as horrifying as it is, Circus Baby's voice attempts to reassure you it only hurts for a second. It only hurts for a second having your guts pulled out of you. When you wake up, you appear to be at home, but your eyes are revealed to be a bright purple in your bathroom mirror, which lets you know that Circus Baby, obviously with Ennard, was successful in escaping the facility through you. Inside you. Number 5, follows you home. So even if you manage to unlock the fake ending or alternate ending and survive your night in the private room, Ennard will still appear after the season finale of your soap, The Immortal and the Restless, which ends on a very strange note. You can see the animatronic drag itself into your living room as its eye flickers on and off. So either way you slice it in Sister Location, you cannot escape Ennard and the animatronics of Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. Number 4, unkillable. Following Michael Afton rotting and regurgitating Ennard, it's implied that Ennard still somehow escapes and lives on. You can see its eyes peer out from the sewer. Michael Afton also still somehow miraculously survives after Circus Baby's voice is heard telling him that he won't die. One of the most frightening things about this is that it's basically implied that Ennard is immortal, and potentially all animatronics maybe are. You can vomit them up as or chop them up into little pieces, and apparently they can still come back, so. Number 3, impervious to fire. Once again returning to prove just how immortal it is, Ennard also appears in the FNAF VR game Help Wanted. In Help Wanted, you face off with Ennard during the level where you also must work to repair the vents at the same time. At the end of the level, Ennard is seemingly defeated when it is set on fire, except that it isn't. In the blacklight mode of the level, you'll discover that Ennard actually somehow survives, proving once again just how undefeatable Ennard really is. Chop it up, set it on fire, it'll just keep coming back. Ennard is on some kind of Terminator level shit. Number 2, collective consciousness. During a conversation that was hosted on the Scott Games website, we discovered that Ennard actually had a hive mind made up of the animatronics that it is physically composed of. Circus Baby always appeared to be the leader of the group in FNAF Sister Location, but in this conversation it is revealed that eventually the hive mind of Ennard kicked her out from its mind and body. What's more scary than one really messed up animatronic? How about a bunch? All rolled into one hive mind. Yikes. Number 1, messed up clown. Back to the full look of Ennard. When it's wearing its mask and hat, it definitely resembles a clown. It not only has a clown face on its mask, but the tangled wires that make up its body in the front, just under its head, are kind of made to look like a big droopy clown bow. It also has a big red button in the center of the bow, like a button that you might see on, I don't know, a clown's outfit. This might not be scary to all, but to those who are terrified of clowns, I'm pretty sure it's a frightening sight to see. What do you think is scarier, Ennard with or without the mask? Do you find clowns scary? Is Ennard one of the scariest animatronics to you? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time exploring the world of FNAF with me via the frightening animatronic known as Ennard. Who is your favorite animatronic from Sister Location? What do you think makes an animatronic scary anyways? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Scary Animal Crossing Fan Theories. Also, I loved in the comments all of the theories you all had that Zipper was actually William Afton or Springtrap. Those are some pretty cool like crossover game theories. It would be cool to see an Animal Crossing that was sort of FNAF based actually, and scary. Creepy Waffles comments, I like your shirt. I was obsessed with Finding Nemo when I was little. Finding Nemo is actually still one of my favorite Disney and Pixar films. I love Finding Dory too, but it is so sad. It made me cry so much. I'm glad that you are also a fan as well. Who was your favorite character in Finding Nemo? Mine is Bruce the shark. Fish are friends, not food. Off Yeet says, Cat and Rory are my residents. I love Rory! Oh, he's such a cute bodybuilding little lion, and he has the cutest mustache. Who is your favorite resident? One of my favorite residents is actually from Wildlife, which I have for my DS. There was a bear in it called Cody. He's like a blue bear. He was so nice. He was like one of my best buds. I don't know why I'm saying that like he's dead. He's not dead. He still probably lives in my town. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and your opinion shouted out in a future video. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!